Welcome back, everyone, to Pathologic. Shit. Time to fulfill my hunger. Nice. And 5 great big haunches of meat. Georgie's invitation. Dear Master Barak, I assume you already know of the fatal transformation that's happened to the family of Vlad Olgimsky, your father's friend and benefactor. A cunning intrigue has led the head of the Olgimsky family to be judged by a crowd of bloodthirsty butchers. Before long, every one of them will tremble at the sound of the boss Vlad's name. I kindly request that you find a moment to visit the Crucible. I'm in possession of some crucially important information that may, perhaps, save the life of the man whose hospitality you recently enjoyed. Interesting. That being said, Vlad is not one of my bound. Neither of the Olgimskys is, I don't think. No. Then I wonder who Big Vlad is bound to. Or is he bound to anyone? Because I know little Vlad ends up joining the Utopians. But that's just sort of like a way to sort of resist his father, in a manner of speaking. Anyway, let's talk to the foreman and ask him more about where he got the Aurochs blood. Because that's curious. He shouldn't. Like, end of sentence. Nothing about that makes sense. Like, did he cut the lines wrong? Did he not do it? What the fuck did you do, Oyun? I know you fucked this up. Don't you fucking lie to me. Oh, I think Taichik is permitted to sleep in the pit. And so if she wants to go to bed, if she wants to take a nap, the butchers there will take her in. And so the stone had to be moved to allow entrance. Which is why now I'm able to enter, even though it's against Oyun's wishes. Interesting. At least that's how I'm rationalizing it. Makes sense to me. Hello, cows. The Bull Project. I imagine to the Olgimskys it's just about the money. Oyun.
Was it not the last Udur?
You come here often, kindred one. Do you seek to be employed by boss Vlad? The plague is fierce, but we must not abandon the work. Perhaps you're not Nodong. Bring us a bull then. Perhaps you're a butcher. Kill one of us then, and prepare its meats for transportation. I want to ask you where the blood you gave me yesterday came from. Yet you will not get an answer. Why should I share this knowledge with you? You cannot take it, and it will rip you apart. I am the son of Isidore Barak. It's not Noyun's place to talk to me about knowledge. I see before me someone who calls himself a son of a Barak. You haven't accepted his inheritance and are therefore unworthy of his name. Lie. I've accepted my father's inheritance in full. Have you accepted your father's duty and the obligation to save the lives that he gave an oath to keep? I have. Have you accepted his knowledge? Have you accepted his lines? Have you learned how to tell the dark from the light, the damp from the crumbling, the scorching from the cold, the dead from the living? I admit I have not. Then there is nothing to talk about. You're not your father's son until his lines are continuing through you. Leave. I'll be back. I will only speak to you when you've had your father's uday hanging from your neck. Seems like something's been concealed from you by that one that passed the inheritance to you. I'll be back, Elder One. This means I didn't claim the entirety of my father's inheritance. Symbols everywhere. I look, there are signs to be deciphered. Did Aspity lie to me? I can't believe it. But then, why did they all avert their eyes whenever I mention my inheritance? Well, the box is still there. It's unlocked. Oh, geez, it would be interesting if I have to go to Sabrov and he's got like a second key. That guy stopped being important like 5 in-game days ago. So I want to take the figures. I thought I was full of time, and now not so much. Still, I might need the mark. If I need the mark, I'll go collect it. If not, Aspity will tell me what I need to convince him that I know the lines. So I imagine in the Bachelor's playthrough, when they talk about when they talk about Haruspex turning away from his inheritance, I imagine that made coming to the abattoir much more difficult. If he denied it and then only accepted it later, that probably didn't make him look good. Right, there's no map inside the abattoir of the abattoir. Funny how that works. Aspity's hostel is very near. I think it'll be easier for me to go this way and then go around the hostel entirely. Come back on the other side. That being said, that Aspity is a wicked creature. She probably won't tell me what I want to know unless I do something for her as well. Then again, she cares for the kin more than she cares for anyone else. It might not be difficult for me to convince her that what I can do for the kin is better than what Oyun can. Like, she wouldn't give me a butcher, she wouldn't give me a butcher because she's like, fuck that. That endangers them. What the fuck are you doing? But this situation can only benefit the kin, so she may be willing to give me more. Aspity.
Your changeling has a haughty attitude. Seems like she knows something.
Where does the power of the copious tacklers come from? They know the lines. Duh. It's clear as day, isn't it? They know how to open up and turn around the cryptic lines of a body. A word, the sky, the earth, and even water. That's how it used to be, anyway. How come the power this knowledge grants to its bearer is so great? Why is that a surprise? How can the foreman rule without troops? Why does the kin yield to him? How do the leaders of the ruling families accept it? It's the power of standing. Each party has their own domain. The party of the Tagglers arose naturally to fill the corners of reality that the rulers would never understand. You people only offered the rulers the leftovers of that power. The Olgimskis haven't been holding the kin in their grasp for all that long, you know. The Odongs are much stronger. Why the unrest, then? It's not always smooth. Sometimes foremen get too old. Sometimes the kin would rise in response to Suok's fever. Sometimes they couldn't find a common tongue with the commandments of the commandants. Sometimes mistresses would turn their gaze towards the kin, but generally the kin is compliant. So the Baroque standing is still high. The power of the copious tagglers is great. Never forget that, Oinon. The ruling families get diplomacy, polyhedrons, politics, and intrigue, but we get the earth, the primal power, the cycles, the bulky movement of life. The eternal battle for the harvest, the annual birth, the heat, and the meat. I'll keep that in mind. But now
Lies always turn out to be true. Don't mess with Earth.
What of my inheritance? No, I didn't, I confess. Explain yourself. I've fallen in love with you, Oinon. I care too much. I am so desperately want you to live. You were brought up away from here. You've forgotten our rights and customs. You were in need of a friend, a mentor. It was easier for me to keep your belongings for the time being. Easier than trying to explain why they're dangerous to keep. And even more dangerous to use. Fallen in love? Like a slave falls in love with their master. Like a thing falls in love with its owner. It's a dog's affection. I know it's forbidden for an Odong to couple with a woman from the kin. I am simply devoted to you, Oinon. I see. So, what was it you preferred to postpone sharing with me? It's a bone. A Bos Primogenius' horn. It confirms you are the eldest of the Baroques, that you know the rights and preserve the art of a copious tackler. The Baroques are a copious tackler. You know the lines. You know how to cut a body open. The right is your right. There are but a few families of the kind left. I have no right to make this choice for you. Tell me of the other families. Few families still hold the right to carry out the right in this part of the steppe. The Magizes, the Beshets, the Baroques, the Oyuns, and the Krioks. The last of the Magizes died. He was basically killed by Black Nina. The Besetches used to know the lines almost as well as Magizes, but they've been brought to naught by Twirine. Were they the best? Yes. Well, each family had its own line of work, and each was rather brilliant when handling that line. The Baroques, for example, have always been talented healers. The Magizes were the most ruthless and decisive, and the Besetches were the greatest in number. The Oyuns and the Krioks have never been taken seriously. They're apprentices, not masters. And that's why they don't respect Oyun. Give me the bone. It's rightfully yours. Take it and forgive me. I swear that I meant well. Had I not abused the situation, you'd have been dead by now. You'll now be once again accused of patricide by many. The weak old story will repeat itself. Be prepared. It'll be different now. I can take care of it all on my own. That bone looks familiar. Bos Primigenius, a beast from legend whose lines reflect all the intricacies of the laws of the universe, gave this bone to one of the first Menku. Huh. My reputation hasn't faltered yet, but if it does, I know many worms in the Termitary who require healing. And I can alleviate their pain, and in return, I shall be granted my sterling reputation. I do have, like, fucking 14 bottles of Miradorm. And what day is it? It's day 8. Oh, I see. So on day 1, I lose all my reputation, and then in day 4, I lose it all again, and then on day 8, I lose it all again. Okay, I see how this works. Fuck you, game. Fuck you. God damn it. You rat motherfuckers. Oh, that can only be used as an exit. I have to use the main entrance. Well, that's unfortunate. It takes up valuable time on my fucking clock. Still, now I'm curious. How did she keep that bone hidden? How housed of? Like, she doesn't. She couldn't have unlocked it. Maybe the bone does seem a little too big for the box, so maybe it came with the box and she just hid the bone, and then I unlocked the box and she's like, oh good, you took all the shit in the box, please leave. Fuck off. I do feel good about not lying to Oyun. Like, yeah, I know my family name. Do you know all this shit? No, I don't. I don't know anything about that. Shit. But yeah, and Oyun's position being that of an apprentice makes sense. If that tradition about his family is true, then it makes sense why he's not able to properly administer to the kins. He's not a leader, he's a supporter, and he's not willing to accept that. And I mean, hey, I'm not a leader, and you know what? I shouldn't be one. Give me an inch of power and I take a mile. Seriously, I get fucking power hungry. It's fucked up. Yeah, I shouldn't be allowed to be in charge of anything. I make a great Grand Vizier. Let me just, yeah. I'm a good middle manager. Although, I guess I am improving in some ways. Oh, geez. I don't think I'll have enough time to get to Georgie. Oof. Unfortunate. But, I mean, if this ends the quest, if I can just go to Oyun and be like, yo, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Then 6 hours will be enough for me to get to Georgie Kane and be like, fucking take this, just tell me what I need to do, and then I can do that real quick. Presumably it won't be very long. Like having played this game as long as I have, I have a sort of intuitive understanding of how long it takes to do side quests. Most of them don't take very long. And those that do, you end up generally getting earlier in the day. Like, the game isn't unreasonable. It's not unreasonable. No one's gonna eat your eyes. So, yeah. And I mean, consider how long it took for me to do the Vlad mission. That was like 2 hours. Oyun?
Yes.
A wise man speaks, a clever one listens. A worthy deed. I know now that you haven't had the bone before due to ignorance, not cowardice. It is henceforth yours. What do you want to know? Where did the blood you gave me yesterday come from? It's the blood of a boss primogenius, an image of boss Turok, who goes by the name of an Aurochs, an ancient steppe bull whose lines are akin to the lines of the cosmic bull. It was left over from a sacrificial rite, but the rite didn't go the way you wanted it to. You couldn't get living blood from the beast killed the day before yesterday. That is so, but I can draw it from the earth. It is the blood that feeds Suok's body, the blood that flows through her veins underground, the blood that we have been pouring there since time immemorial, feeding Bolsturok's body to be fed by him in return. So you've taken this blood from below the ground? How old is it? Warmed by Suok's body, brought to life by Suok's breath, the currents of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of bulls, cut open, lie underground. Its age should be of no concern to you. It's been the living blood of Suok from the moment it was poured into Bolsturok's veins. Where is the entrance point to the blood gets poured into? I will tell you of this too. Here in the abattoir, at the heart of the house of Suok, lies a well that is connected to the veins feeding the earth. Could the blood be extracted from there? Only by an Odong, the foreman of the abattoir who belongs to a Long Tagler and knows the right. The blood rises from down below, heeding his call, but I will not call this blood for you until we are equal. Why not? Because I do not want you to have it. You're unworthy of thinking about it, let alone taking it. It was not you, but Boss Vlad that I gave the blood to before, to help him and on his orders. So what do I have to do to get this blood? Ah, fuck. By making a sacrifice? I didn't... Ah, crap. So the bowels of the earth beneath the town are filled with the smallest arteries, transporting the sacred blood. The whole place is saturated with it. As far as I know, they could have been pouring blood into the earth for thousands of years, but why is this blood still hot? What keeps it alive? I should talk to Aglaya about it. Okay. So, the only word I caught in that was sacrifice. Sorry, I clicked too fast. So he needs me to make sacrifices to prove my worth as his equal. I mean, I guess that makes sense if he truly is like a lesser of an apprentice caliber. Then if I'm not willing to sacrifice and work as hard as he has, then I certainly don't deserve the position that, you know, is owed to me. Or the position that I am supposed to be owed, so to speak. Which makes sense. So, presumably, I will make these sacrifices in the future? In the year 2000? I don't know, man. But I was allowed to keep the bone, so I'm just gonna keep this bone horn. Oh, fuck. How am I doing? How am I holding up? You're alright, Artemi. You're alright. Keep it together, man. Thank you, Dead Gruel. Oh, yeah. How's my immunity? Evened out. And my resistance? Pretty resilient. Oh, I should have meant... Right, yeah. I found another pair of repellent ankle boots. I'm sorry, repellent jack boots in one of the houses I was looting, but I'm not going to sell it because prices are so low today. I'll save them until later. And then I'll get some real money. Yeah, boy. That was an ominous groaning sound. So we can go to the Crucible, talk to Georgie, and then talk to Aglaya, finish the day's quests, and then do what Georgie wants with, you know, maybe some time to murder some people in the night, or maybe take a fucking nap. And then I can start the rounds again, buy some bullets from Bad Grief, trade some, you know, blood twire to Andre for as many bullets as I can get my hands on, and then we start the cycle again. Oh, and then I, you know, kill a bunch of looters and get a bunch of medicine I don't need to get money so that I can make sure that I can buy the... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. This game is gonna be the death of me. Oh man, I'm so glad I went into those tunnels and killed those bandits. Holy shit. Easy money.